What's up, y'all? Cam here, and today we're doing another review. This time we're reviewing Grow Wings by John Keith. And John is now coming fresh off of being recently signed to a new record label by producer Rodney Jerkins called Aliens Alive. There's a few other rappers that have been signed to it as well. Most recently, Aha Gazelle. And so we're getting a newly signed John Keith here. This comes off the heels of a collaborative project between John and Miles Minnick. But thinking last solo album work, this was 2023's Oremos, which I liked a good bit. It had darker tones and John talking a lot about his mental health struggles and what that looks like. And so we move on to now. This is a different season, a different time for John now. He is a father, and we get to hear about what's going on in his life. So I was really excited to dive into this project, especially with some really, really good singles, such as No Love and God's Hand. Ultimately, those two singles did not make it onto this project, but singles like Call, Eyes on Us, and Won't Fly did make it to the album. So we got those. But getting right into it, we're going to start with the intro here. And we get John in a very deep, raspy voice, kind of unsettling sound here, like maybe it was an iPhone voice memo. It's pitched down, and he says, "Sometimes I get scared that I'm not actually the person that you love. It's like I'm just who we used to be." And that's how we start out this project. Then right after that, we go in media res style. We're starting right in the middle of this big, loud climax of a song called Safe. It feels like there's a lot of urgency. It sounds like John's questioning his safety, maybe in relation to how he feels about his struggles. Why is God allowing whatever is going on? He says in the song, "You said you'd take the cup. All that I taste is blood." And John goes on to talk about mental health struggles and even suicidal ideations. One of the lyrics says, "And I was 27 when I first dialed 988. Which I don't know the math there. I think John is currently 27. So you're hearing the urgency, you're hearing the struggle. But meanwhile, there's this strong, loud, nice, big, vibrant string section and orchestral instrumentation happening that inflates the true intro of this album to this feeling that you're starting all the way up here. Like I said, we're in media res, we're in the middle of things. And I looked through the credits of this album, and we got Enzo Gran, who's producing almost every single song here. He produced all but a couple tracks. But we also get Rodney Jerkins, who's sonically kind of, I think, working as the executive producer here. And Rodney is the founder of Aliens Alive, John's record label that he signed with. And Rodney has decades of experience working with the likes of, for one, Michael Jackson. He's also worked with Beyonce, Justin Bieber, Spice Girls, to name a few. But we get someone like Rodney who has made hits. And now we got John in the saddle, kind of working in collaboration with this vision of whatever, I guess, Rodney was working with him. And I say that under the assumption that Rodney does have his fingerprints all over this album, considering, yes, he's the founder of the label. He has made many hits, but he's also listed as a producer in the credits for a lot of the songs here. And with that pop appeal, we do get John using more of his vocal range to get the job done on this project. And I think for the most part, it sticks and it works. So immediately after the formal opener, Safe, we get Chasing, which slows it down, and John using his falsetto on the hook of this R&B ballad. And he's really singing about the pursuits of material things in life that just pale in comparison to what God has. I love Taylor Hill on this feature. His verse might be the big takeaway from this one. Overall, solid track. Go on a 3-track run, which I think is fantastic. We get Eyes on Us, which was a single. And I think John's vocals on this one are really strong, and the beat is reminiscent of Thank All the Stars with Kendrick Lamar. It really does feel like a movie soundtrack, just like that song was. Next, there's Call with Madison Ryan Ward, which is just a beautiful, breathtaking track. We go over a lovely acoustic guitar with a rotary sound to it. It's just an absolute summertime ballad where both John and Madison are singing from the perspective of God, asking them to just call me. It's such a beautiful song, and of course, Rodney Jerkins listed as a producer on this one. It sounds like he's got his pop-making ability all over it. And then towards the end of the song, we get this big orchestral moment with the artists, both John and Madison, harmonizing over each other. And it's just a beautiful, stunning, amazing track. I love it. So earlier I mentioned Michael Jackson. Speaking of Michael Jackson, the song Beautiful. giving me those vibes, kind of the way you make me feel. And it just works so nicely with what John is trying to build here. The breakdown is full of shimmering synth keys and vocalizing. There's even a vocal choir layered in there that joins John for the hook. So I say this album has some big swings. Admittedly, I give it to John for swinging for the fences with the whole album going for this big pop vibe. There are a few swings though that do miss. Friends just falls flat for me, the song Friends, and it feels more like a filler track. I don't hate the production. It's dark, it's gritty, it's kind of got this apocalyptic tone to it and feel, but it just doesn't sound fleshed out. If it's meant as an interlude, I think it works fine, but it's just not my favorite. We also have Flowers, which starts nice and soft with this jazzy guitar and strings, and then it breaks out into a dance beat. And I guess in theory it can work, but the instrumentation just feels like it's doing a little too much, and it flips between like 4 different movements in the span of 3 minutes. John vocally sounds good on this one, but I'm distracted by the progression of the music and the instrumental and whatever it's trying to do here. We inch a little closer to John's trademark hip-hop sound alongside Beam on Only One, which is a nice track. It's melodic. It's one of the few times on the album it really picks up. I like the production from Beam and his feature as well. It's all additive to the project and cements the new record label type of feature from Rodney Jerkins. Co-signing this, that we have Beam on here, that's a pretty big feature to have. And speaking of big time features, we get Jon Bellion on the track No Hands. And this one kind of feels like an old school kind of 80s soft pop, soft rock ballad a la Phil Collins. It's a bit more soft-spoken than some of the songs, but Jon Bellion's hook is more like a roar and a quiet forest around him. My only real complaint with this one here is that the song just abruptly ends after one verse. Again, I'd like to see some of these tracks fleshed out a little more, but on this one I like what they were shooting for though. Also, there are times where John has these ad-libs that just do not fit the vibe at all. And I really feel that on No Hands, he's softly singing and then we just get this one ad-lib thrown in there that goes, "That's true!" And it's just jarring. This happens a couple of times on a few different songs where we get like this ad-lib jump scare. Maybe it's more of a mixing complaint than a vocal one, but I don't know, it can kind of take you out of things. We get actual rapping on Reasons with Ty Brazel, and it's a fun track that sounds straight from like 808 and Heartbreaks era. It's got a fun synth bass and this drum pattern that gives something a little different to enjoy on this album. It really is a true banger, with John on the hook kind of screaming out, "There's too many reasons!" But it's a fun one. I really like this track a lot. And I really like the closers here as well. We got Last Wish with John asking, "Will you treat my prayers like a last wish?" He's basically praying through the song. He's praying through the lyrics. He says, "Help my wife, protect my son, heal my sister, save my brother, bless my father, bless my mom, help my friends to call each other." It's an intimate moment that I think shines on the back end. Then we officially close with Won't Fly, which was a single for the project. I like this one a good bit, and I remember when it came out as a single, it really let me know ahead of time what we were going to be getting into on this project. This pop orchestral sound that John shoots for, overall, I really like it. Really, this album as a whole, I think is just a good project. It's consistent, it's more focused than some of John's prior work, and John is no stranger to trying to build a world sonically with efforts like Ramos and Anti-Hero. And I could just hear the cohesion. And I think that's where it pays off to having a small, tight group of producers on this thing, as the only producers being listed in the credits are Enzo Gran, John himself, and Rodney Jerkins. So you hear the cohesion and you can really see what they're trying to do with this project. I feel like this album is an artistic statement of John either going big or going home, and he definitely goes big on this one. I'm feeling a strong 7 out of 10. So that's my review for Grow Wings. I like this project a lot, and I think John does this thing on here. So tell me, what did you think about this project? Did you like it? Drop in the comments what was your favorite song. Please let me know what I should review next, but until then, I will see y'all. Thanks for watching.